Dragonball Xenoverse 2 Platinum Trophy definitely needed next level boosting. I boosted so hard in this game, I forgot my hairdresser appointment. Now the Platinum isn't as bad as the first game, but still pretty repetitive. This was another game from the unfinished backlog. I did give up on this game back in 2016, and I don't really know why. Until playing it for a while this year, then I got a little bit of an idea. Of course, because it's a Dragon Ball game, I had no choice but to persist. This game also has the longest names for trophies that I've ever seen. Look at these things. They're longer than the time it takes you to get up when you reach your 30s. It's brutal. Trust me. This is ranked as a 4 out of 10 in difficulty, so it's a B rank quest in Farruski clan rating. This was my platinum number 111. When I first played it, I popped 67% of the trophies, so I only needed another 13 trophies to pop the platinum. 7 bronze, 5 silver, and 1 gold. Although they're all pretty time consuming, which means I had a hell of a lot of work to do. With that said, what the hell are we waiting for? Drop my beat! Now let me say, for those of you out there who are thinking of going for this platinum, it's a lot less grindy than its predecessor. Seriously, Xenoverse 1 is an RNG mess. The graphics are also much better as well, and the gameplay has been greatly improved. Even the hub area is bigger and better. It's just an overall huge improvement on the first game, although the loading screens are still a bit of a piss take. Now with this game, I thought I had uploaded my save. But I didn't. Back to this again. Of course, because of this, I had to start the game from scratch. Luckily, I managed to carry over a few things from my Xenoverse 1 save, but the rewards weren't amazing. I created a new character, similar to my old one, but with a more updated hairdo. I did this after creating this ugly c*** and completing a mission with him. I didn't realize saves could be transferred from the last game at this point. Only found out after using my Sharingan to read the terms and conditions quick time. Oh, on a side note, the main menu music is an absolute banger. Definitely worthy of a Spotify playlist. Step 1 was, of course, to play through the story. I smashed through it as quick as I could, doing some of the side quests as well. In this step, I didn't pop any trophies though. I'd already popped them all when I first played the game.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Felt more disappointed than my wife when she saw me naked for the first time. Anyway, some of the NPCs I came across with a blue exclamation mark on their heads sometimes dropped Dragon Balls, which was nice. Now my approach to this game was pretty much the same as in the first game, spamming Death Ball. It was just my go-to skill, like all the time. When I unlocked the Super Saiyan transformation, it changed to turning Super Saiyan and then spamming Death Ball.
I regret nothing.
Step 2 were the online trophies. For this one, and from this point forward, I needed some jolly boosting. So I gathered the 7 Dragon Balls and got Shenron to summon me some partners. He summoned none other than the legends Crimson, the man with more broken skills than Itachi Uchiha, and Vault Boy Steve, the man rumored to have the strongest death grip known to man. As soon as we played our first match, I popped the How About a Little Warm-Up trophy, and after these legends let me win 7 times in Endless Battle, I popped the Victory is Mine and the Of All My Fights, You're My Second Strongest Foe trophy. And with that, all the online trophies were actually done. But we were having so much fun boosting together that we just carried on fighting each other. When I matched up against Steve, it was a pretty even contest. However, whenever I matched up against Crimson, it was a completely different story. I didn't say he had broken skills for nothing. If he used his main, this would happen. Yeah, that was a one-shot. After we banned that from being used, he popped up with another character, which resulted in this. Fair to say, that was banned as well. After we made Crimson avoid the characters he specifically made OP builds for, like I avoid the black part of a banana, Steve was able to pull off this win in awesome style. You know, considering his aim usually looks like this. Step 3 was complete the instructor events. Unlike Xenoverse 1, all the instructors are pretty much available from the get-go as long as you complete the story up to a certain point. And you don't even have to do all of them. On top of that, they all appear in the hub area in specific places, so no RNG for these. Although the special training events with Krillin and Yamcha are random. I also did the training quests and advancement tests when they became available as well, so I could start closing in on getting half the skills. There are a crap ton of instructors in this game, which means this took a hell of a long time, especially the stupid milk delivering missions for Krillin. This felt pretty traumatic. Not as traumatic as a finger up a Chihuahua's ass, but pretty close. At this point, I started realizing why I gave up on this platinum in the first place. While training with instructors, I was unlocking the advancement tests at the same time. Now to reach the final advancement test, you need to Z-rank all the previous ones. Gruesome, I know. Also, the hit instructor quests are absolute bullshit. Straight up unfair. When I eventually completed the final quest in the advancement test, I popped the Wanna Be the Next God of Destruction trophy, and when I completed 10 of Krillin's Milkman missions, I popped the Tra-la-la-la-la trophy. Homelander would be proud. There were still a few instructors that were unavailable by this point, but I just figured it was because I needed to unlock the rest of the roster. I also needed to do Yamcha launch a turtle stone collecting quest a few more times for that trophy as well, and since these are RNG, I moved on to the next step, hoping these would trigger at some point. Step 4 was to complete the expert missions. Once again, Stephen Crimson joined me for this step because these expert missions were no joke. Of course, because Crimson was now fighting with us and not against us, we lifted the ban for his hacks ability. This was a ton of fun with these boys. Without them, I think it would have been pure torture. Anyway, as expected, Crimson's hack skills came in very, very handy. Instead of obliterating me, he obliterated the enemy. Now, some of these missions were pretty challenging. The Omega Shenron one was a bigger challenge than trying to finish pleasuring yourself with 1% battery life on your phone, until of course Crimson busted out the Emperor's Death Beam. What a beast. Once we reached the last few expert missions though, they became absolutely ridiculous, especially number 15 with a boss rush. But like all anime, the power of friendship and boosting prevails. After completing 17 expert missions, I popped the You Really Are a Hero trophy, a trophy name dedicated to these two legends that helped me out. Step 5 was to complete all parallel quests. This again is a lot more RNG friendly than Xenoverse 1 when it comes to skill and equipment drop, so one by one, I started smashing them out. Initially, my team consisted of Zamasu and Golden Frieza. They are pretty OP as support characters and can take a fair amount of punishment. Once I completed half the parallel quests, I popped the You're Not Worthy of Fighting Me trophy, and then from this point forward, I started noticing a considerable spike in difficulty, which caused the NPC support characters to look as useful as chocolate kettles. So there was just one thing left to do: uninstall the game and break the disc. And that would have probably happened if I didn't have these two legendary boosters on my side. These two were the Sam to my Frodo. With them on my team, or as some like to call it, carrying me, I completed all the parallel quests to pop You're the Second Foe to Push Me This Far trophy, which meant that sadly, this was all I could boost in this game. And just like Shenron after a wish, these two boys scattered all over the earth into 7 magical balls. Step 6 was the cleanup. By this point, I didn't have that many trophies left, but arguably the most grindy one. I'd amassed a healthy amount of TP medals and Zenny while completing the previous step, so I went to the skill shop to obtain half of them and popped the People of Earth, Please Lend Me Your Energy trophy. To get half the equipment, however, was a different story. For this one, it felt like I was right back into the first game. I had to grind out parallel quests after buying everything from the clothing shop and accessory shop, as well as give Majin Buu's offspring food so they could gather items. These games just can't help themselves. They just have to add RNG. They just have to. Anyway, when I eventually got half the equipment, I popped the Bad Guys Always Wear the Coolest Clothes trophy, which moved me on to the next trophy, which was to unlock all characters and variations. So again, I repeated parallel quest 4 countless times to gather the 7 Dragon Balls 4 times. I just defeated the 3 time patrollers that show up after defeating Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien, since they all have a high chance of dropping Dragon Balls. I'll also point out the drop rate is a lot more forgiving for Dragon Balls in this game, especially since you can get them from random NPCs in the hub world with blue exclamation marks on their heads, and as random rewards for logging in. Either way, once I wished the 4 extra characters from Shenron to unlock the remaining characters, I popped the I've Come For You trophy. With that done, I only had 2 trophies left. Hands down, the most repetitive one. First and foremost, I created a Majin character and leveled him up to 35 to obtain the special transformation for this race, which is just a Kid Buu transformation. Next, I created a human character and got him to level 35 to obtain the special transformation for this race, which was the Power Pole, basically a super OP flying Nimbus rider. Instantly reminded me of Crimson. And I'm not gonna lie, by this point, I was getting very bored of this game. Without Crimson or Steve to keep me company, it was more painful than hitting your little toe on a piece of furniture. Anyway, after taking a little break from the game, I created a Namekian and leveled him up to 35 to obtain his special transformation as well, which is a supermassive Namekian. And finally, I created a Frieza race character and leveled him up to 67, because it has to be 67 with this race for some reason. And obtained his race transformation, which is Golden Frieza. And since my main character was a Saiyan and I got the Super Vegeta 2 transformation during step 1, I popped the Over Here Slowpoke trophy. Finally! Which then led me to my last trophy, which of course was an RNG one. I hadn't kept count of how many of Yamcha's stone collecting missions I had done, so I had to just wing it. Now these aren't nearly as tedious as the milk delivering ones, but they pop up much less often. They did for me at least. I did some online parallel quests, expert missions, story missions, instructor missions to try and refresh the hub area as much as possible. I pretty much did everything people online would recommend. I even gave £4,000 to a Nigerian prince because he said he'd give me good luck. He didn't. After days of repeating things I'd already done, I finally completed 10 of these stupid training missions and popped the That Stone Might Be a Decoy, Let Me Check It trophy. And of course, the Bye Xenoverse Platinum with it. Yes! And Bye Xenoverse it truly was, because straight after it, I deleted this game faster than when you stop fighting with your sibling when your mum gets home. In total, this game took me 143 hours throughout both my playthroughs to Platinum, but from the point I restarted the game in 2022, it took about 5 months. Of course, I didn't play it consistently. Thank you all for watching. watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to all the legendary Super Saiyans that are my patrons and channel members for the love and support. And that was it for this one, Farruski Clan. Catch you guys in the next one. For more platinum quests like this, click on the left panel, or to watch the whole playlist, click on the right panel. GuyFarruski out.